We missed the out of you out here, bro. How you been?
I've been good, man. Mentally, spiritually. I've been on top of my shit.
Lil Durk's latest jail call with DJ Academics and his lawyer is blowing up online, but it's not just the friendly conversation that's got people talking. Durk dropped a quiet but powerful revelation about his time behind bars, and it's got fans rethinking everything. So what exactly did he say, and why do people think it might affect his upcoming trial? Let's get into it. The voice from behind bars. On April 28, 2025, a phone call between Smirk and DJ Academics hit the internet, blowing up timelines across the board. This wasn't just another inmate calling home, this was a rare glimpse into the mindset of a street legend whose meteoric glow-up was followed by an equally dramatic downfall. In that call, Durkio revealed something mad surprising about his mental state while locked up.
Durk, what's cracking with you, my brother?
Chillin', what you got going?
Man, I've been chilling, man. We missed the out of you out here, bro. How you been?
I've been good, man. Mentally, spiritually. I've been on top of my shit.
Man, we can't wait, bro. We've been praying for you.
That's just a little taste of what the Chicago drill pioneer had to say from the pen. But to really feel the weight of these words, we gotta rewind and understand who Durk Banks actually is and how he ended up caught up in the system. Durk Derek Banks came up on October 19th, 1992 in Chicago's notoriously treacherous Englewood neighborhood on the South Side. His childhood was straight poverty, hunger, and constant exposure to the trenches, real-life struggles that would later fuel the raw storytelling in his music. At just 7 months old, Durk's pops got booked, leaving his mom's a nurse to raise him solo. As a youngin', Durk got down with the Black Disciples gang, a move that would cast a shadow over his whole career. He bounced from Paul Ropes in high school and became a father at 17, which he later said was the push he needed to take music seriously as a way to escape the hood. His music grind started in 2010 with early freestyles like Lamron Wasted and joints like L's Bitch with Lil Reese. He started buzzing on MySpace and YouTube before dropping his debut tape, I'm a Hitter, in 2011, followed by I'm Still a Hitter and Life Ain't No Joke in 2012. These projects caught on in the streets, with Life Ain't No Joke pulling over 216,000 downloads on DatPiff. His big break came with the 2012 banger L's Anthem, later remixed with French Montana. This track put him on the map as a key player in Chicago's drill scene alongside artists like Chief Keef. The success of L's Anthem and Dis Ain't What You Want landed him a joint venture with Def Jam Recordings for his squad, Only the Family, OTF. But even while he was leveling up Durk's legal, the issues stayed on his heels. In 2011, he caught a case for possessing a pole with a defaced serial number, copping a plea to a lesser charge. In 2013, the ops got him again with a loaded .50 cal in Englewood. In 2019, he caught another body in Atlanta, though those charges eventually got tossed. Despite these setbacks, Durk's career kept rising. His fourth mixtape, Signed to the Streets, 2013, was crowned the 8th best mixtape of that year by Rolling Stone. His debut album, Remember My Name, 2015, hit number 14 on the Billboard 200, pushed by bangers like Me, featuring Jeremy. After bouncing from Def Jam in 2018, Durk linked with Alamo Records, a move that sent his career to the stratosphere. His 2020 heater, Viral Moment, became his first solo Billboard Hot 100 entry, followed by slaps like Three-Headed Goat with Lil Baby and Polo G, Backdoor, and The Voice. Features on Drake's Laugh Now Cry Later, which hit number 2 on the Hot 100, and Pooh Shiesty's Back in Blood boosted his stock even higher. In 2021, Durk and Lil Baby's collab album, The Voice of the Heroes, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. His 2022 album, 7220, also topped the charts and Almost Healed, 2023, reached number 3, anchored by the Grammy-winning banger All My Life featuring J. Cole, which peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100. By 2023, Durk had cemented his position as drill's most commercially successful artist, stacking his paper to an estimated $8 million net worth, fueled by a $40 million Alamo deal, streaming bands, tours, and side hustles like Durk Landry Trucking LLC and his NFT project NXTG3NZ. Throughout his ascension, Durk built OTF, Only the Family, from 2010, putting on talents like King Von. And it's right here with the mention of Von that the story takes its tragic turn. On November 6, 2020, King Von, Durk's right-hand man and OTF soldier, got murked in Atlanta during a scuffle with Quando Rondo's crew. Von, born Davon Bennett, allegedly ran up on Rondo outside a club. Rondo's homie, Timothy Lul Tim Leaks, let it bang on Von, who later died from his wounds. Leaks caught a murder charge but walked in 2021 after prosecutors called it self-defense. This loss hit Durk different and set off a chain reaction that would eventually lead to his downfall. After Von's passing, Durk and Rondo's camps started trading shots in songs and on social platforms. Durk's 2022 track, Aha, and Rondo's End of Story poured gas on the fire, with bars referencing Von's death and threats of get back. According to messages that leaked online, Quando Rondo tried to squash the beef through DMs to Durk, trying to talk things out. These peace offerings fell on deaf ears, and the beef only intensified. Fast forward to August 19th, 2022, a date that would change Durk's life forever. 5 OTF affiliates allegedly slid from Chicago to Los Angeles to smoke Quando Rondo. They allegedly spotted Rondo and his cousin Saviaya Lil Pob Robinson pushing a black Cadillac Escalade. Using 2 rented whips, a white BMW and an Infiniti, they tailed their targets to a gas station near the Beverly Center. At this spot, the squad allegedly let off multiple rounds, catching Robinson but missing Rondo. According to the feds, Durk, as the big homie of OTF, put a bag on Rondo's head, offering bread and music opportunities to his people. Evidence includes cards linked to OTF and Durk's former manager used for flights and hotels for the alleged shooters. A text from Durk saying, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me," and Durk's trip to Cali on a PJ with one of the suspects the day before the hit. On October 24th, 2024, after the 5 OTF members got snatched in Chicago, the FBI peeped that Durk had booked one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland plus a private jet to Italy. Reading this as an attempt to duck the case, they grabbed him at Miami International Airport before he could jet to Italy. Durk pleaded not guilty on November 14th, 2024 in LA federal court. His trial, initially set for January 7th, 2025, got pushed to October 14th, 2025 because the case is mad complex with over 230 gigs of digital evidence and 20,000 pages of paperwork. He's been denied bond multiple times, with prosecutors saying he might run and linking him to another alleged hit on a suspected Gangster Disciples member in Chicago in 2022. His lawyers offered $3 million for bail, including house arrest and property, but the judge wasn't having it on December 12th, 2024. Which brings us back to those prison phone calls, the most recent one showing a surprisingly chilled Durk talking about his daily program behind bars.
Yeah, ain't nothing changed, bro. I just been focused on life, my family and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to speak Arabic here.
Wait, how you learn that? Like, how do you get to learn that? They got classes?
You said, I can't hear you.
Do they got classes for that? Or you just...
No, it's a couple guys here that know how to speak Arabic fluently. So I'm just learning the different words and, tighten up my Arabic, just getting my knowledge together.
Despite being locked down, Durk's still making noise in the music world. His album, Deep Thoughts, dropped in March 2025, hit number 3 on the Billboard 200, proving his fan base still riding for him hard. But as we'll see soon, Durk's legal team is coming with some fire arguments that might flip his whole case. The legal battle. While Smirk's sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles waiting on trial, his defense team, led by high-profile attorney Drew Findling, known in the streets as the Hash billion-dollar lawyer, has been going hard with a strategy to get the whole case tossed. Their approach focuses on what they claim is cap evidence that the prosecution fed to the grand jury. On April 18, 2025, Durk's legal squad filed a motion to dismiss the superseding federal indictment, arguing that prosecutors showed the grand jury false and misleading evidence that compromised the whole case. The centerpiece of this motion is a wild argument about one of Durk's verses. The feds had used bars from Durk's feature on Babyface Ray's track, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, claiming these lyrics were Durk flexing about the Quando Rondo shooting and his cousin's death. The specific bars the prosecutors zeroed in on were, "Told me they got an Addy, go go, got location, go go, green light, go 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 go." They also pointed to a reference to someone yelling "no no," which they claimed was about a news clip of Rondo reacting to Lil Pop getting smoked. According to the prosecution, the song, which dropped in December 2022, was basically Durk stunting about the murder for hire lick. But here's where Durk's defense team comes with the checkmate move. The song was recorded in January 2022, 7 whole months before the August 2022 shooting. To back this up, they brought receipts in the form of sworn statements from producers, including Just Veebs, confirming the timeline. The defense didn't stop there. They also called out the prosecution's claim that the song includes Rondo's No No from a news clip, pointing out it's based on fan-made YouTube edits, not the original track. Durk's team says he had nothing to do with these edits, and that the government couldn't connect Durk to these altered versions. They called these manufactured video clips from random internet users unreliable evidence. The motion argues that the prosecution's use of this bogus evidence amounts to egregious misconduct, violating the grand jury's protective function. The defense says these errors are serious enough to warrant dismissing the whole indictment. They also want to see the grand jury transcripts to further scrutinize what evidence was presented if the case isn't thrown out. Along with trying to get the case dismissed, Durk's team filed for his release on bond, proposing a serious bag to secure his freedom until trial. The bond proposal includes $2.3 million in Georgia property equity and $1 million in cash from Sony Music. This comes after a previous bond request got denied. In a W for Durk, Judge Patricia Donahue approved a bond hearing for May 8, 2025. This decision came after the defense laid out their arguments about the flawed evidence used to secure the indictment. For the bond reconsideration, Durk's team has proposed a $2 million package that includes $900,000 in real estate equity, $1 million in cash from Alamo Records, $150,000 from a business associate, 24/7 private security, electronic monitoring, and strict reporting requirements. This follows a previous denial of bail in December 2024, despite offering up $3.3 million in cash and property. The case got even more complicated when a civil lawsuit hit. In February 2025, Andrea Laquila Robinson, Saviaye Robinson's mom, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Durk, his business manager, Only the Family label, and a related company in Cook County Court. The suit claims Durk orchestrated the targeted attack that killed Robinson, seeking accountability and a bag for his family. Beyond the lyrics controversy, prosecutors have other evidence against Durk. They claim that cards linked to OTF and Durk's former manager were used to book flights and hotels for the alleged shooters. They also point to a text from Durk to an associate saying, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me," suggesting he was trying to cover his tracks. Additionally, prosecutors note that Durk flew to California on a private jet with one of the suspects, Kevin London Grant, on August 18, 2022, the day before the shooting. This timeline puts Durk in LA around when it all went down, though his defense says this is circumstantial at best. Making shit worse for Durk, a 2023 FBI affidavit links him to a second uncharged murder-for-hire plot targeting Stefan Mack, a suspected Gangster Disciples member in Chicago in 2022. This alleged hit has been connected to the 2021 murder of Durk's brother, Dante Banks, and was used to argue that Durk might run if released and should stay locked up. Despite these heavy allegations, Durk has maintained his innocence and continued to drop music from behind bars. His album, Deep Thoughts, released in March 2025, included a documentary addressing his legal struggles. The album still performed, debuting at number 3 on the Billboard 200, showing fans still riding with him despite the legal drama. Durk has also found support from his family during this rough patch. His father, Dante Banks, has spoken about holding his son down through the legal battle, drawing from his own past experiences with the system. The upcoming bond hearing on May 8, 2025, represents a crucial moment in Durk's case. If granted release, he could better prepare for his trial while reconnecting with his family and potentially continuing his music grind under strict conditions. If denied again, he faces another 5 months in the box before his October trial date. But the motion to dismiss the indictment entirely could be even bigger. If successful, it would basically kill the government's case against Durk, potentially leading to his release and avoiding a trial altogether. However, legal experts note that such dismissals are rare, especially in federal cases where prosecutors typically build substantial evidence before bringing charges. The parallels between Durk's case and other rappers who've been locked up due to gang-related beef are notable. Artists like YNW Melly, Tay K, K-Flock, Young Thug, and C Murder have all found themselves caught up in the system due to alleged gang activities and rivalries that spilled over into real-world violence. Young Thug's case offers a potential ray of hope for Durk. After more than 2 years in jail facing RICO charges, Young Thug eventually pleaded guilty to reduced charges in October 2024 and walked out on 15 years probation with no additional prison time. This outcome, rare in RICO cases, shows that even seemingly impossible legal situations can sometimes turn out in the artist's favor. As Durk's legal battle continues, his recent phone calls from jail suggest he's keeping his head right despite the challenges ahead. In his conversation with DJ Academics, Durk mentioned learning Arabic from fellow inmates and hooping to pass the time. Also worth noting was a call between Lil Durk and Kanye West in March 2025, where Ye updated Durk on his album Bully, the Diddy situation, and mentioned new artists like Laserdisc 700. Durk reportedly said he was taking it a day at a time and had been vibing to Andre 3000's verse on Life of the Party while locked up. These glimpses into Durk's jail life show a man trying to stay positive in a tough situation while preparing for the legal fight of his life, a rivalry turned deadly. To really grasp how Lil Durk ended up facing life in the feds, we need to break down the deadly beef that allegedly motivated the murder-for-hire plot. This rivalry, involving Durk, NBA Youngboy, and Quando Rondo, shows how rap beef can escalate from trading bars to real bloodshed with tragic consequences. The conflict stems from tension between Lil Durk's Only the Family, OTF squad, and NBA Youngboy's Never Broke Again, NBA camp. These tensions were bubbling under the surface for years, occasionally surfacing in subliminal disses and social media shots, but most mostly staying in the realm of typical rap competitiveness. However, everything switched up on November 6, 2020, when King Von, Durk's right-hand man and OTF soldier, got killed outside an Atlanta club during a face-off with Quando Rondo's crew. The incident popped off when Von apparently ran up on Rondo and started throwing hands. Surveillance footage of the altercation went viral, showing Von dumping on Rondo before shots rang out. Rondo's homie, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, let it bang on Von during the scuffle. Von got rushed to the hospital but later died from his injuries. Leaks caught a murder charge but walked in 2021 after prosecutors decided the shooting was self-defense. This legal ruling would turn out to be a major factor in how the beef escalated. Von's death hit Durk like a ton of bricks. They weren't just rap associates, they were like brothers. Durk had signed Von to OTF and was helping build his promising career. Von's murder wasn't just the loss of a friend and artist. In the streets, it was seen as a direct disrespect to Durk's whole camp. After Von's passing, the tension between the camps exploded into the public eye. Quando Rondo dropped a track called End of Story, which many took as a diss addressing the incident. In the song, Rondo claimed self-defense and showed love to Lil Tim. According to leaked messages, Quando Rondo allegedly tried to reach out to Durk through DMs, trying to talk things out and squash the beef. These peace offerings apparently fell on deaf ears, as Durk curved the outreach and the beef continued to heat up. In 2022, Durk dropped Aha, which contained what many saw as direct shots at Quando Rondo, an NBA youngboy. The track included lines that seemed to reference King Von's death and hint at get back. This back and forth of diss tracks and social media shots kept the beef alive and in fans' faces. But according to federal prosecutors, Durk wasn't just responding through music. They alleged that as OTF's big homie, he put a bag on Rondo's head, offering paper and music opportunities to associates willing to carry out a hit. This is where the story shifts from typical rap beef to alleged criminal conspiracy. On August 19, 2022, the alleged murder-for-hire plot popped off. 5 men affiliated with OTF, Calvin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, allegedly slid from Chicago to Los Angeles to smoke Quando Rondo. According to court documents, the squad spotted Rondo and his cousin, Xavier Lil Pab Robinson, pushing a black Cadillac Escalade. Using 2 rented whips, a white BMW, and an Infiniti, they followed their targets to a gas station near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles. At this location, the group allegedly let it bang on the Escalade, dumping multiple rounds in a busy area, endangering not just their targets, but also innocent bystanders. When the smoke cleared, Robinson had been fatally hit, while Rondo made it out unscathed. The shooting involved a chopper, making the alleged crime even more serious. Prosecutors have built their case against Durk using several pieces of evidence. First, cards linked to OTF and Durk's former manager were allegedly used to book flights and hotels for the men involved in the shooting. Second, a text from Durk to an associate stated, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me," which prosecutors read as trying to cover tracks. Third, Durk flew to California on a private jet with Grant, one of the alleged shooters, on August 18, 2022, the day before the hit went down. Fourth, the lyrics from Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, which prosecutors initially claimed referenced the shooting, though as we've discussed, the defense has strongly contested this interpretation. The beef didn't cool after the 2022 shooting. In an unreleased track from 2023, Durk allegedly hinted at having the chance to smoke NBA youngboy in Utah, turning up the heat on their feud. There were also claims on social media that Durk tried to blackball NBA youngboy and Quando Rondo on Apple Music, allegedly telling the platform, "If y'all f with those dudes, don't f with me." While these claims haven't been verified, they show how the conflict kept simmering. The deadly rivalry between these artists reflects bigger issues in the drill scene and gang culture. Drill thrives on public beef, with artists using bars and social media to taunt ops. These public confrontations can amplify personal grudges and turn them into spectacles that involve fans and the wider hip-hop community. The case also highlights the tension between street loyalty and mainstream success. Despite his Grammy win for All My Life at 2024 and commercial wins, Durk kept close ties to OTF and Chicago street life. This loyalty, while respected by fans, may have ultimately contributed to his legal troubles. Unlike peers like Chief Keef, who distanced themselves from their origins, Durk continued to embrace his role as the voice of his hood, while staying connected to O Block and other Chicago spots. The federal investigation into Durk and OTF shows the government's aggressive approach to drill-related violence. Unlike state cases that might be limited by resources or jurisdiction issues, federal prosecutions boast a conviction rate above 90%. Federal authorities have extensive surveillance capabilities, financial tracking tools, and often rely on informant networks to build their cases. According to posts on social media, the feud is deeply rooted in street loyalties and the loss of close associates. For Durk, King Von wasn't just a business associate, but someone he considered family. Similarly, for Quando Rondo, the death of his cousin Lil Pab represented a devastating personal loss. These emotional stakes go way beyond typical industry competition. The self-defense ruling for Lil Tim in King Von's death likely fueled OTF's belief that justice wasn't served through legal channels. channels. This perception may have contributed to the alleged retaliatory plot, reflecting broader patterns in gang conflicts where getting back for fallen homies is often seen as a street obligation, regardless of legal consequences. In March 2025, Quando Rondo gave an interview where he addressed Durk's arrest and discussed whether he had forgiven him, indicating that despite the violence, the personal conflict continues to evolve. These public statements keep the narrative alive, even as the participants face serious legal consequences. Industry insiders note that these beefs can have commercial implications beyond personal safety. Allegations surfaced claiming Durk attempted to limit Quando Rondo and NBA YoungBoy's industry presence by pressing platforms like Apple Music, though these claims remain unverified. Such behind-the-scenes moves represent another dimension of modern rap, rivalries that can affect artists' bread. Even as Durk awaits trial, his music continues to hit with audiences. His album Deep Thoughts, released from behind bars in March 2025, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200, showing that his legal troubles haven't diminished his artistic appeal. This commercial success provides financial resources for his legal defense while maintaining his cultural relevance during incarceration. The loyalty of Durk's fan base speaks to the complex relationship between art and artist in contemporary hip-hop. Many supporters separate the music from allegations against the creator, while others view his legal challenges as further proof of his street credibility. This dynamic creates a paradoxical situation where incarceration can simultaneously threaten and reinforce an artist's brand. For the families of victims caught in these conflicts, the commercial success of artists involved can feel particularly painful. In February 2025, Andrea Laquila Robinson, the mother of Saviaya Robinson, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Durk. The suit seeks accountability and financial support for Robinson's family, representing another dimension of the legal aftermath. The pattern of rap beefs escalating to violence has prompted calls for industry intervention. Some advocates suggest that record labels, streaming platforms, and OG artists have a responsibility to mediate conflicts before they turn deadly. Others argue that the commodification of authenticity in hip-hop creates perverse incentives that reward escalation rather than reconciliation. Music journalist and cultural critic Jeff Weiss described this phenomenon in a recent essay. The industry profits from conflict while maintaining plausible deniability when that conflict turns violent. Artists are encouraged to be real until being real leads to real consequences, at which point they're often abandoned by the same entities that benefited from their image. Legal experts note that federal involvement in these cases signals increased attention from law enforcement. The FBI and Department of Justice have increasingly targeted hip-hop artists and their associates using RICO statutes and other federal charges that allow for broader prosecution of alleged criminal networks. Durk's case joins others like Young Thug's in demonstrating this approach, where prosecutors treat music collectives as criminal enterprises. This strategy could reshape how drill artists navigate fame and street ties, potentially forcing a reconsideration of the relationship between artistic persona and personal conduct. Civil rights advocates have raised concerns about racial disparities in how these cases are prosecuted. They note that rap music is scrutinized for violent content in ways that other genres aren't, with lyrics more readily accepted as evidence despite their fictional or exaggerated nature. These concerns reflect broader questions about equity in the criminal justice system. While awaiting trial, Durk has maintained communication with the outside world through prison phone calls that have been shared online. In March 2025, a call between Durk and Kanye West circulated where they discussed music and industry happenings. West reportedly updated Durk on his album Bully, the Diddy situation, and mentioned new artists. Durk told West he was taking it a day at a time and had been vibing to Andre 3000's verse on Life of the Party while locked up. India Royale, Durk's wife, was reported to be missing him heavily after this call, highlighting the emotional toll incarceration takes on families. These personal dimensions often get overlooked in discussions focused on legal proceedings and music industry implications. Durk's father has also spoken publicly about holding his son down through this challenging period. Drawing from his own past legal experiences, Dante Banks has offered guidance and encouragement, representing an important source of stability during a turbulent time. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.